Oh, the little black and white thing?
Yep, you know why they do that?
So they can edit.
Yeah, sounds. They push the sound at the same thing, so they look for the spark. Yeah! All right, here we are at the strike zone here in beautiful Destin, Florida. And my guest today is Mr. Brady Smith. He's now a Texas Ranger, former Florida Gator, former Niceville High Eagle. So Brady's been here for quite a while now. He got invited to instructional ball out in Arizona, which is really a great thing. Instructional ball to me was the greatest because that's where all the instructors are, right? The whole organization's there. You get the coaching, man. You get the coaching. You get the goods at that point. So being invited to that, it's got to be making you feel good just getting the invite, right?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, all the big guys were there from, big leagues and all the way down to low A, and you get all the instruction. All the coaches are there, and they're there for you, and they're out at practice every day, every morning, and if you need extra reps, they're there for you, and it's your career, and they're there for you to help you out and guide you. It was cool.
Did you find was it different for you in that no one's yelling at you, right?
Right.
I know you probably had a coach or two at college, right? They yell at you.
Right.
And now all of a sudden you're in pro ball and nobody yells at you.
Yeah.
It's your own gig, right?
Yeah. It's a job now, and they're there and they're a coach, but it's your career. Like I said, they're there to help you, and it's your career. You're the one that's putting in the work, and you gotta put in the time, and it's your career. You're in the same boat as I was going through your career, and
yeah.
It's a job now. You either gonna make it or you get released.
What were your days like in instruction ball? I know mine were like we'd probably get started at 9, and then you'd play till 12, and then you'd have a sandwich and an apple.
Right.
Yeah. Get in a van, drive down, play somebody else, and then play the game and come home. Maybe even sometimes work out after the games.
Yeah. So on a practice day, we would get a lift in, but every morning wake up at 7, eat breakfast at the Players Village that the Rangers have, and then head to the field. Get there around 8:30 every morning, and I would get ready, go to the training room, and just kind of get a routine going, make sure my body's ready to go for the whole day, and then we would get after it, start practice, and then
how many games a week would you play?
We had it was 6 games a week, so Monday through Saturday, and then Sunday was an off day for us.
And how many teams were you playing? Because it was a smaller schedule because of COVID, right?
Right. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday was doubleheaders against the Royals, and then Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, we'd either go play the Mariners, the Angels, or the Padres. We'd go play them either Saturday. It was mostly Saturday we'd go play the Padres, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday we're playing doubleheaders against the Royals.
And 7 inning games.
Yeah, so the doubleheaders were 7 innings, and then the games against the Mariners and the Padres and Angels, they'd be full 9-inning games.
Getting after it, man.
Yep.
And that's going from, all right, the season ended when? College season last year. He was a University of Florida. You guys were undefeated at the time, weren't you?
We were 16-1. We lost to FSU.
Well, yeah,
we lost.
That hurts.
Yeah, coach wasn't too happy, but we lost to them on Tuesday night, and then that Friday morning we were about to play Georgia, and the season got canceled.
Bummer. So how did you make your decision to turn professional and not possibly go back for another year?
This has been a dream of mine since I was a little kid, and I just felt like the opportunity was right for me, and I was just ready to get into an organization and just get to work. it was a tough year for every college kid, every high school kid because of COVID, but it wasn't about the money. It was just a matter of me, you know, getting myself into an organization and showing them what I can do, and you know, I just felt like the time was right.
Yeah. You know, I felt the same way about you too.
Mhm.
You know, I was like, I didn't think you needed to go back.
Right.
You know, go back for another year. You were one or a two-time All-Star at the Cape.
My first summer in the Cape, I hit 333 and didn't make the All-Star team. But my second summer,
How the heck does that happen?
I don't know. I guess the guys in front of me were tearing it up. But second summer, I got to play in the All-Star game, and that was a cool experience. Pretty much the entire town and anyone that was in the Cape came out to the All-Star game, and it was packed.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool.
Well, being at Florida, you got to play in the College World Series.
Right.
That was your freshman year, wasn't it?
Yep, 2018 freshman year.
And we were watching that. You hit a ball off the top of the wall in center.
Yeah, a little.
We were all going, yeah, man. That was neat. That was neat. But yeah, so you had a lot of experience. You know, you played up, 2 full summers, and then it's amazing how much baseball you can get in a college season with a fall, spring, and a full summer load. It's all you can handle. So at that point, do you really need to? It's time to move on.
Right.
You've already shown you could do it at the college level, and my biggest concern for him was his flexibility, because Brady's played every position. He's a good athlete, so he can play shortstop, third base, second base, doesn't matter, first base. So he kind of came into catching a little bit late, and getting the flexibility and the hip mobility and stuff like that it takes time. And so he went to Instructs and was excited for it. And then when you came back to see how much mobility you got in your hips,
Right.
it was like, and how much you learned. It's been fun to watch.
For sure.
So what do you think about the whole COVID crisis? I mean, as far as like when you signed, they picked 5 rounds last year.
Right.
So you signed as a free agent.
Yep, undrafted free agent sign. Like I said, I was just ready to move on, and COVID was here and messed up a lot of kids with the draft, but I was just ready to move on and was fortunate, to go to Instructs and learn from the coaches and then learn from, the prospects that are above me, and it was just basically a little kid just starting over again. I'm at Instructs and I gotta learn
There you go again.
a lot.
Like
Yep.
freshman in high school.
Yep.
Bottom of the barrel, right? You get to
Right.
college, here we go. You're a frosh, you got to show, you got to prove
Yep.
your wares, and
Yep.
now here it is
Yeah,
again.
but
New position too.
yep. But it was a good experience, being invited to Instructs, because the coach is there. You got the big league coach walking around, watching BP and watching the games. You got cross checkers, and
Probably got general managers.
oh,
you got
everyone was there, and it was just fortunate, just to be there and be able to play and just get the coaching and get the instruction to make me a better catcher.
So what happened? I heard your first at bat.
Yeah.
First at bat, you guy drilled you.
Yeah, first about a pro ball. Still trying to get the jitters out. First professional at AB, and first pitch took a hack. I just was thinking dead red fastball, and I missed it. But then I got to a 3-2 count, and then the kid tried sneaking a 2-seam in and just got away from him and smoked me in the forearm, and I run down to first and didn't think, it wasn't anything bad, and then I look at my forearm and I basically got a freaking watermelon on my arm, and I look down and then run back into the dugout, and the trainer took me out of the game and welcome to pro ball.
There you go.
Yeah.
There's a big how you doing.
Exactly.
Awesome. So, if you were talking to a kid now that's in college, what helped you when you got into college, and in your high school prep, right?
Right.
You know, like, what was the one thing you did in high school that you felt has helped carry you? Has there been anything that's helped carry you through to the point you're at right now? Is it work ethic? Is it you just really clued in on hitting, or you just continue to work? Is it good luck? Is staying healthy? What is it?
For me, I mean, as a young kid and just loving the game and learning from my dad. I mean, if you put in the work, it's gonna show during the game. So I mean, I just learned that as a young kid, working hard pays off, and it showed. And I mean, my work ethic. I mean, that's the biggest thing is what I've learned, and as I'm growing is I'm gonna put in the work no matter if it's in the morning or nighttime, how cold it is. I mean, I was in high school with my dad, and it'd be in the winter, 30 degrees outside, and we're up at the high school in the batting cages. We're hitting at 9 o'clock at night, and I mean, you got to put in the time. If you take days off, there's kids around the country, around the world that are getting better, and if you take days off, then they're going to get better than you. So
Sacrifice.
exactly, and that's what I did as a young kid. I made many sacrifices, and I mean, it's helped me, and my dad, and having you around, it's helped me, and my dad just put me in the right position and just told me the right things, and I just loved the game and just wanted to, work at it.
Isn't it amazing how that work ethic can carry over?
Oh, for
it's
sure.
Like, I tell kids, I do this thing, Vision Quest, right?
Right.
And it's like, let's take 2 months and really make training and everything your focus,
Right.
right? And everything else is second. And after the 2 months, let's take a look, right?
Right.
And it's like, after the 2 months, you're faster and you're stronger, right?
For sure.
You've come a long way. But the one thing that you've really added now is that you've learned how to work.
Right.
And you've learned how to so now your expectations of yourself
Right.
have been really heightened. So anything less than that is kind of a failure, right?
Right.
And you worked like that for so long that anything less than that, it's what got you there. And if you do less than that, you're gonna fall off.
Yep. And I mean, there's always something you can work on each and every day, and you just gotta learn that as a player, and it'll come as you get older. But there's always that one thing you can get better at, and that's what makes you a better player.
So you always kept working, not just on your infield. You're always hitting.
Just the entire game of baseball. There's defense, there's hitting, there's the mental side of it. I mean, not many kids know, but there's all kinds of things you can work on.
I know. We talk a lot about. I had Sammy Rowe on. You know Sammy, right?
Yeah.
And she says the same thing. It's like so many kids just want to come and hit.
Right.
They want to hit. They don't want to jump rope. They don't want to lift. They don't want to stretch. They want to do the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And
they don't want to do the dirty stuff.
Right. And it's funny because as I talk with more and more players and people that are, moving up the ladder and have had success, it's the common thread.
Right.
Right. Everybody talks about how hard they work at it. And looking back, I don't remember playing with anybody that didn't work hard.
Right.
There's like the best players. They're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people trying, right?
Yeah.
And
Our Rangers hitting coordinator, he has a motto, and he always preached it to us at Instructs: train dirty, play clean. So you gotta train hard. You gotta train hard to be a good player.
Yeah. Awesome. So looking back at your Florida days, what would you recommend when you were recruited? And we've been talking with coaches and stuff. How hard is it to play at the University of Florida and to fit in if you're not a star player? I mean, these kids who all want to go D1, how many guys do you see fit that role? How many guys end up trying to go D1 and not make it?
I mean, my 3 years there was kids coming in and kids leaving after every year. So I mean, it's a business, and every kid out of Division I is a great ball player, and there's 20 more or 30 guys around you that are just like you, and you're there to compete. And if you don't compete and you don't perform and you're not consistent, then they're gonna kick you to the curb. So you got to come in and step on campus ready to go, or you're gonna be left behind.
Isn't it funny? It's like some players think that they're owed something.
Oh yeah.
You're right. Like I'm a good player. What's coach thinking? Or you start moving up into the ranks like University of Florida. Nobody owes you anything.
Yep. Yeah. Got to kick the ego to the curb.
Yeah. Baseball's humbling enough to begin with. Never mind, you got a bunch of rock stars running around, trying to take your job. And
Right.
the whole 9 yards. It's intense.
Yeah. Just keep your nose down and get after it.
There it is.
Yeah.
I always say the players got one job, and that's to get better.
Yep.
That's it. The only job you got. Not talk about everybody else or do anything else. Just get better. So catching wise, what was your biggest obstacle in catching, and what do you think your strengths are and weaknesses?
I mean, you touched base on it. I mean, my biggest weakness was hip mobility. So I was stiff as a brick, and so I could barely move back there. But going into instructs and having the trainers and just kind of, having you, stay on top of me and stretching every night before I go to bed. I mean, it's proven and it's showing now, and it's helped me a lot, and I feel comfortable back there now, and really working on blocking, because the guy on the mound's got to trust you. If they throw in the dirt, you got to block it. So I mean, I'm working hard on that, but also the biggest thing in today's game, the receiving side of it, that's the number one thing I've really been working on, is receiving side. If you can steal strikes and you can, if you're good with the glove, they don't care if you're a good hitter anymore. It's receiving, and that's the biggest thing I've really been working on.
Yeah, I know. You get in here, we put the iron mic on, throwing pretty good cheese, right down around your ankles, and it's just because you're just practicing catching and ripping it up.
Yep.
Right.
Thumb under it.
You see some kids. I'll get some young kids in there, and they do it. They last about 10 balls, and they're bored with it.
Yep.
Instead of learning how to pick it up. Catching to me it's like art, in so many ways. And having a checklist. Do you have like a mental checklist?
Oh yeah.
Like back there, okay.
You're playing a little game in your head. You gotta have a plan, a routine, and then you gotta know what kind of plan and what kind of weakness the hitter has, and so you're basically playing a game back there, and it's been fun.
Yeah. How much more fun is it calling all the pitches?
Oh, that's another thing I can work on, is pitch calling, and that'll help me. But that's fun, calling your own game now, and seeing what works and seeing what doesn't work, and then what the pitcher's tendencies are, and that's the biggest thing as learning as a pro guy now, is your routine and having a game plan. I mean, in college, we had our coaches, calling, but if we saw something, we could, tip over and say, hey, this is what we should, throw right now, and then we had game video, which helped, and you could watch the opponent hitters, and that helped in college. But now it's you're the one that's calling it, and every once in a while the pitching coach will call a pitch if he wants the pitcher to throw a certain pitch in a certain count, just to see how
and they
he
control the
handles
running game too, right? They
For
control
sure.
the running game.
But no, I mean, I've enjoyed it. My second summer in the Cape, I got to call my own game, so that's really helped me in learning how to call a game. But
it's weird. It's like you got to find a vibe, right? I'm always looking at the guy going, what's he thinking right now?
Right.
Is he geared? Does he look antsy?
Yeah.
Have we thrown him enough breaking balls to slow him down, and
Right.
maybe now we can beat him? And
Yeah, it's like you're playing a little game. What next move can you get him with?
right. I love that.
Yeah.
I used to call it the tickler,
Yeah.
right? And Dave Duncan would go, you know, every once in a while he'd walk by and go, "Hey, Hemo, you better get the tickler ready. You're in there today." And, you know, cracking jokes. Just,
Right.
I was like cocky, like I could call a game.
Right. Feeling good about yourself.
Right. I always thought the guys trying to call it from the bench are like, you know, maybe this guy's slider is his best pitch, but
Right.
today it's his third pitch.
Yep.
It's not his best pitch.
Yeah.
So guys are going to call that from the bench, and he's hanging it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like my coach in college, Robin Roberts, right, Hall of Famer. And I asked him that when I first came into college. I was like, you know, Coach, are you going to be calling the pitches? Like, that's what I hear, you know.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, no, kid. You got the best seat in the house. Figure out what he's got and get to work."
Yeah. 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 In college, we wore those wristbands, and they would give us the numbers, and then we look down and see what pitch they wanted.
That's hectic. Didn't you wear an earpiece?
Yeah, so SEC games, they allowed a earpiece, and then the coaches had a walkie-talkie, and they could call into the walkie-talkie, and then it just goes right into your ear. But you can't talk back to them, so you were getting an earful, but you can't say nothing back. So
in other words, sometimes the conversation would get off of just the pitch selection.
oh, for sure. If we called a pitch and it got hit into the gap or something, they could say whatever they wanted to the walkie-talkie, and I was the only one listening to it. So I'd be getting an earful.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Oh yeah.
No doubt. So now you're going to spring training,
Yep. Yep.
and you think you're ready?
Yeah. I mean, my body feels good. I mean, everything's feeling good right now. So I mean, I just got to go in there and.
Where are you going? You're going out there for a
Yeah.
spring training.
Yep. So with COVID, they're having a couple guys out to North Carolina at our low A site down east, Wood Ducks, and they called me a couple days ago and they said I was on the list, and a certain amount of guys are gonna go out to this little mini camp, get a couple reps, and then we'll be there for 2 weeks, and then they end of the month they'll fly us to Arizona and we'll start spring training.
That'll be nice because you'll be able to get that. I always remember spring training, like I'd go to camp
Right.
and feel strong, right?
Right.
Get your legs in shape and everything.
Yep.
Do you think you got it handled? Then you get out there and it's like, you got to catch like 30 pitchers your first 2 days, right?
Yeah.
And your legs, I couldn't even walk. I get up like third day of camp and I was in great shape.
Yeah.
My legs are so you'll get that taken care of in North Carolina first.
I hope so. Well, I went into instructs thinking, I thought that was bad. I'd be catching 4 or 5 pins and then going to do catching drills and then catching a 7-inning or 9-inning game, and I'd be dead after that. But all the catchers around me that have been in the organization, they were like, wait till you get to spring training. It's a grind. You can be catching 10 pins and then doing catching drills and then catch the game, and you do that every day.
Yeah, it's think about some of these guys that are going to big league camp. Right? They're like already at big league camp right now.
For sure.
They're going to be there. They'll break camp in April,
Right.
Beginning of April, and then they're going to stay on board for another month.
Right.
So I mean, there'll be guys that are like their arms going to be getting tired.
Yeah, I hope not. But yeah, there's a couple guys that got invited to big league camp, and so they're out there now. And, I mean, it'll be a grind, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited.
Yeah, I've been able to talk to a couple of scouts and see how it's going, and he says it's really troubling trying to get all the logistics together on what everybody's going to do and how to keep everybody safe and all that.
Well, that's why they split up big league camp. Is so once big league camp gets done, then they'll move everyone out, and then the minor league guys start rolling in, and they just don't want everyone to be around each other, and that's why they split it up.
So have you set any goals for this upcoming year?
Goals?
Besides not get cut in the first spring training.
Yeah. No, I haven't I haven't really thought about that, but I mean, if a couple goals would be, just. I mean, I'm hoping I'm tearing it up at the plate. Hopefully, hitting over 300 and killing it. But a goal for me would be catching side, and just hopefully I have a winning record behind the plate.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I always thought, Tony was always, it's defense first.
Right.
And you got to catch a game, and you got to separate the two.
Yep.
Yep.
That's
one thing you see differently from what I see from high school and even some college. Right. These guys take their offense with them.
Yeah.
And that's a no, man.
Yeah.
Catching.
Yeah. The one thing I learned in college when I was catching is if you have a bad AB and you're mad at yourself, right when I got into the dugout and I was putting my my shinnies on, flip the switch. Now it's time to go play defense, and you leave your bat in the dugout, and then once you get back in the dugout from catching, then you can get mad at yourself again. But
that's a great plan.
Yeah, right when you put the shinnies on, flip the switch, and it's time to play some defense.
Absolutely. All right, I was gonna ask you what the hell. All right. So I look at catchers and I try and tell catchers, we have a thing we call the catchers union, and I've been using that for 30 plus years, and it's all about the catchers looking out for each other.
Yep.
Right? Extra swings in BP because we do all the grunt work, right? So with that in mind, you guys looking out for each other in instructional ball? Guys still pulling that? They still doing that?
Yeah, we're the hardest workers, on the field. So we're a brotherhood, and we take care of each other. And they were talking about it today in a spring training game, and how all these catchers, are running from field to field, catching pins, doing bunt D, and they're not swinging it on the field because we're running around trying to help pitchers out, and not many people realize it, and they don't know about it and how hard we work. But we're catching pins, and we maybe get 10 swings before a game, if that. And
right,
learning, being a catcher now, and learning that through the years now is you got to take care of each other. So there's always, if I was catching a pin, I would let the other catcher, stand in so he could see it, or they would go down and hit, and then we would switch.
I don't know if I ever shared this with you, but I learned this as a kid playing hockey up north, right, and watching goalies, right?
Right.
Goalies stretching out before the game, right? They slide back and forth, and everybody taking shots, right?
Right.
And he's getting all his prep in, right?
Yep.
And then, so I carried that over to baseball. So as soon as I started catching in college, I did a lot of prep work before the game, right? So I always thought to myself, then once I became a manager, and I'm coaching teams and whatever else, it's like, I don't want my shortstop for him to get his first ground ball in with 2 guys on in the first inning, right? He's got a tough ball in the hole to play.
Right.
I want him ready for the ball.
Yeah.
Right? And so I try and tell my catchers that are, on my team right now, and that block some balls before the game.
Yep.
Feel the ball hit you. Get your flexibility. Have somebody throw you some balls. The other catcher will hook you up.
Right.
If you're, warm up the starting pitcher. Don't just sit out and let him do that on his own.
Yep.
Catch that guy. You want to have a feel for what he's going to do.
Exactly.
And we don't need your first ball that is in the dirt that you need to handle be in the first inning with 2 strikes and you miss it, right?
Right. Yeah, learning that as a catcher now is having a routine before the game, and stretching, doing some receiving, doing some blocking, and then doing some footwork. That that relates to the game, and you take it with you, and you feel ready.
So as a as a newer catcher, about 3 or 4 years now, probably 3 years catching.
Right. Yeah.
They,
Yeah. 3 years.
Yeah. What would you give for advice? What were the things you did right? What were the things you did wrong? If on either side that stick out to you. Like if there was a young catcher here right now in high school and he's trying to get ready, what words of advice would you have for him for keep an eye out for this or keep an eye out for that?
I mean, for me, I would just say don't get frustrated with it. I mean, we already work our butts off every day.
That's awesome, dude. Right? That is some insight.
Yeah.
Because it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
When you're just learning how to do this thing and you get your butt whipped.
Exactly.
That's awesome, Brady.
Yeah. And I mean that's the biggest thing as a new catcher is don't get frustrated with yourself. You might. Everyone's gonna make mistakes, but there's always that next pitch, that next throw you have, and you can make a highlight of the game, and just don't get frustrated. It's a grind, and just trust the process.
Right. Awesome. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Looking at it again, I feel like catching's like almost a might. Everywhere else says with hitting, take your last at bat, flush it, right, and be ready for the next one.
Yeah.
That's catching.
Yeah.
Right. Catching's like this guy's throwing some stuff, man, and he throws a hand grenade at you, right? And it gets by, and you know what? 15 seconds later, here comes another one.
Yep.
You better get over it quick.
Yeah, I mean, you're the one that's in the game every pitch, and you're the one always throwing it back to the pitcher, and you just got to be focused every pitch. And like I said, don't get frustrated because there's always that next pitch where you can be the hero.
Yeah, I always felt like it was like you're like a supporting cast member. You're here to help this guy.
Yeah.
And your job is just to manage this thing and not let it get away from us. Keep the ball in front of you.
Yeah.
Receive it. Don't try and be a rock star and be all fancy.
No.
And do all right. It's not a fancy position.
No.
You might be able to come up with some cool stances.
Right.
Things like that, but that's about it, right?
Yeah. You gotta just play hard.
Well, it was good having you around this winter, man. And I've been doing some flyers and helping out. Brady coaches a lot with the kids and puts a lot of time in. He's working out at local college right now. Has been doing it all the time. Got a real passion for the game. Takes it seriously, but also doesn't take it very seriously.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a game, but you also gotta have fun with it.
You gotta have fun with it, right? Just keep competing.
Yeah.
You gotta get whipped sometimes, and sometimes you'll be handing out the whipping.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, man, we are looking forward to seeing you and wishing you the best of luck, brother.
I appreciate it. Yep.
Kicking some butt, man.
It'll be fun.
Right on.
I think it's good. What do you think?
If I can figure out how to do it. Ooh. You make this thing go up. Yeah, this thing works pretty buttery.
Phone off. You always put it on, what the hell mode? Airplane. I wanted to talk to him about...
I thought you put it on airplane mode.
I did.